Hello and welcome to a special episode of the Healthy Podcast, brought to you in association with Holland Barrett. I'm your host and editorial director, Ellie Hughes. Today we're joined by our guest, Meg Mathews, who has long moved on from her rock chick days to become something of an ambassador for how to have a positive menopause. Menopause hit Meg hard, and more than that, it took her a long time to work out that the various different symptoms she was suffering from were caused by menopause. Inspired by her own experiences, she now has a website, a product range, and a new book called The New Hot, Navigating the Menopause with Attitude and Style, all helping other women to be more empowered when it comes to their own menopause. Really fantastic to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Just wanted to start off by saying I absolutely love the book. I mean, I was blown away by it, to be honest. And, obviously on Healthy Magazine and as a health journalist and also of a certain age myself, let's be honest, written and read quite a bit about menopause. So I did kind of come into it thinking, okay, what's she got to say? And actually I was impressed by so many things. I love the choice of experts who are just undeniably some of the real leading voices in the country. Yeah. So brilliantly curated, I thought, from that point of view.
Thank you.
But also, I just loved how open you were and just honest. And it was like having a night out or several nights out with my really best friends who just knew everything and wasn't kind of afraid or ashamed or embarrassed about sharing everything. So it was really, really brilliant reading. I would encourage anyone to pick it up who wants to know more. So
job done.
Yeah, job done. Let's go home. Finish. Oh, we are home.
Yeah.
But can we start off then? Because obviously you did have quite a tough time with your own menopause, which sets the scene for everything else that then happened next.
Yes.
Can you just kind of take us through the different symptoms you had and what it was like for you?
Yeah, it started off, I was about 47, I suppose, 47, 48. I thought I had the holiday blues. I came off from holiday and I just couldn't really felt a bit down, and I just felt like I wasn't quite right. And I just sort of was not 100%. Anyway, I went to the doctor and I just burst into tears when I was there, just saying, I can't really cope with life. And that was the start of it. But, nobody pointed me in the direction. So I was on antidepressants, and then it led into I went to quite a dark place. And I'm just glad that I'm really here today, because that's how it affected me mentally. I had the worst anxiety. I didn't leave my house for 3 months. Didn't leave here for 3 months. I was basically was just overwhelmed by life. Now, I was the person who would just get up and go all the time. You'd see me here, there, and everywhere. I just was always, grabbing life. I was just that person. All of a sudden, I was this timid girl, overwhelmed, anxious, couldn't drive, didn't want to leave the house. Would do everything. As soon as my partner went to work, as soon as Nails went to school, I just went back into bed and hid under my duvet. I just did loads of excuses, like I was working from home. I wasn't. I was just like, how do I get through this? It was just a really dark and awful time. And I had no way did I connect all these things. I couldn't sleep. I was putting on weight. I was aching joints. Every symptom I had did not ever say, light bulb moment, that's the menopause. And because to me, menopause was just a hot flush and you don't have any periods. So I had the Marina coil, so of course I wouldn't notice. I watched Sex in the City and used to see Samantha just having this hot flush. And that's only, when I think about it, my only time in life in any film or book that I read was where the menopause really was. There was no soaps with it in, we didn't have EastEnders with someone, having, going through the menopause, Bette Lynch, as I say, having a hot flush. So it was a really difficult time. And so then when I did eventually find out what it was, I was just like, it gave me such a long time to because I also wanted to find a book like this, which I couldn't.
Yeah.
Back then, about 6-7 years ago, it wasn't like it is today. There was absolutely nothing out there. I mean, I was on, the British Menopause Society. That to me, with my dyslexia and my ADHD, that website was just way too much for me. It's very technical. It didn't really sum up. And then, and I was ticking all the symptoms and there's 34 and I had something like 24. So I was just like, wow, I don't want, after I sort of my hormone levels were back up and I started to feel a lot better in myself. I was like, I don't know where it was. It just organically happened. I was just like, I'm going to set up an Instagram, lots of likes. Then I decided to set up the website, and we launched in 2017. We were a holding page. We launched on January 2018, and I had 700 hits in the first 6 months. I mean, it's a lot of hits, and I thought I must be doing something right. Also, I did a launch party in January, and I invited all these girls, and everybody came to this launch of this website, Meg's Menopause, which if you would have asked me 5 years to go to a menopause launch, I probably wouldn't have gone. But everybody came to support it, and everybody was interested. And Lorraine came and even filmed from Breakfast TV and chatting to all the women saying, this is great, it's starting the conversation. Yeah. So it organically happened. I just didn't want to, I wanted to find a book, and I wanted to be able to be completely truthful about my journey. And then all those amazing experts in my book, I've worked with them all in the past 5 years, really closely, like me and Louise Newson, nearly everybody in there has been on my journey with me. I've, been to see them go, been to visit them, hung out with them. They've taught me a lot on my journey. So I do feel that whenever I say to Louise, I'm not an expert. She said, you are an expert, Meg. You are an expert, and I'm like, no, I'm not. She said, you are, because what you say and what you do is everything is completely correct. And you get the message out there. Yeah.
And that comes across in the book, that you're kind of a real community of women, and they obviously reference you in some of their advice and how they've chatted to you and what and that's really nice. It's a really friendly tone, but obviously also very expert. It's a brilliant balance, I thought, and a lovely community feeling that comes out from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I find really scary, I suppose, is that when you were having these symptoms and you were going to the GP, they didn't make the connection.
No, they never made the connection. I went to the GP. They just gave me antidepressants. I now know that our GPs in this country, I think in medical schools that they get trained in, their curriculum is only 3 hours on the menopause in 7 years. And it's not even the up-to-date that we've got today, like the stuff that Louise Newson talks about and deals with. I mean, most of them don't know about body identicals. They just know about synthetic HRT, orally HRT that we take. So it's not their fault either, because it's not in the curriculum, and some of them don't even do it. So it's a part of, or it's something that I want to get down to, and I want to try and break that and make sure that our GPs are brought up to date.
And that's also, something else, sorry to interrupt, but something else that I loved in the book is actually it's full of all these kind of practical takeaway tips that you have in there. And one of them, really good section, is, how to get the right diagnosis from your GP.
Yes.
And it's, find out from your surgery, have they got a menopause specialist? Yeah. Just stuff like that wouldn't occur to me, but it's such brilliant advice.
Yeah. So basically in my book and on the app and on the website, on the book, that's what I wanted, because this is all the information that I was looking for. I kept going back and forth to my GP, and I didn't know. So, so he or she wasn't going to know. And also it's like, I just thought knowledge is power to all of us. So I wanted all women to be prepared. So, tracking your symptoms, knowing what boxes to tick, keep an eye on them, have a list of that. Make sure that when you do ring the surgery, ask if they have any GPs that are a menopause specialist. And also when you go, not a specialist, but just more knowledgeable. And when you go into your surgery and you don't seem to get somewhere with your doctor, don't be afraid of your doctor, because it's like when you're sitting and you're having your hair cut and they start cutting your fringe like this, and you just sort of sit there and you don't say anything. I've done it. The doctor says this and I just sort of look. And then when I get out, I'm like, oh my God, that was so bad. Why didn't I say something or do something? So, if you don't get on with your doctor or you don't feel, you can go back and ask to see another doctor. Don't be worried about that. You have 8 or 10 minutes with this doctor. And so if you go in with all the information and hand the information to the doctor, you will be helping the doctor, not saying that he's not good or she's not good as a job, but, randomly when you are just crying or feeling all like this, you can direct your doctor into the right direction. And, and then on my app, there's a tracker, which is great. So you can do this. It's how to make an appointment. I have the ABC of HRT, the same as is in the book. So you're just going to get all this information and you'll be able to take it and present it to the doctor, and it will help him and it will help you. And you're more than likely to be able to get, and you can even take pictures of, you can see pictures of what I take, which is all available on the NHS because everything I do is on the NHS. So the body identicals, the estradiol gel, the estrogen, progesterone, it's all on my website. You can see pictures of it, and you can take this, and it's all available in the NHS. And the estradiol gel is only, I think it costs the NHS £4. So, and we know from that it will help with our osteoporosis. I was diagnosed with osteoporosis when I was 48. I don't have it anymore. I worked with Dr. Louise Newson and Professor Reed from the Royal Osteoporosis Society. 2018, I did a DEXA scan in October. And then last year, 2019, I went to Louise's wellness clinic and we did the DEXA scan. And in 1 year of upping my estradiol gel and doing weight-bearing exercises and not taking any medication, I had come out of having osteoporosis. And it was a big thing for me because my mum passed away from osteoporosis, and we know that 1 out of 2 women will get it, and it's also genetic. So just by rubbing this gel on and looking after my diet and doing this, I managed to get from the red onto the border of the green and yellow of a DEXA scan, which is a bone density scan, ladies, if you don't know.
Yeah. I was going to say, perhaps we should rewind slightly and maybe explain a bit about HRT and also kind of how, why it was affecting your osteoporosis, the lack of estrogen.
I always forget. Sorry, I always forget people,
because it's mad, isn't it? I mean, really, the role that estrogen plays, and it affects so many parts of the body. You might not necessarily realise the role with the kind of osteoporosis and the bone density, but that was a big one for you.
Yeah.
What else did you have?
So basically what else I learned, like you said, on my journey, which was amazing, that I learned that, 2 out of 3 women will suffer a stroke or a heart attack as well, because the estradiol gel, the estrogen, which is 90% of our body, protects our heart. And also, as I know now, the anxiety, the overwhelmness, it's also connected to the brain. It's also connected to dementia, and also connected to diabetes, as well as a collapsed pelvic floor. So it's such an important hormone in our body. And we, and basically we are living so much longer, and we spend more of our life in like a perimenopause or a menopause than we do being fertile. Like you're 15 to you're like about 41 or whatever, which was me when I started to be perimenopause for about 8 or 9 years, because I could tell. I just thought it was my lifestyle. I lived a very colourful lifestyle, everyone, and I used to think it was just, me and my, I love to party a lot, and I would just think, got a hangover, or it's one of those things. But now I know, when I go back to my symptom tracker and I start to look at it, I know now that it was, all those ups and downs were definitely where my hormones were going all over the place.
Yeah, and as you say, it's really good to know that, because there are lots of symptoms, and it's not just the kind of cliche. I mean, obviously hot flushes are part of it, but it's not just that, it's so much more than that.
Yeah, I mean, out of all of them, and I've had nearly all of them, I didn't have a hot flush. So mine at the beginning were all, were all mental health ones. So they were all about the way that my brain was thinking, the way that I was feeling. They weren't that, they were just all in my mind. So for me, I really thought I was going mad. And I ended up going to AA, because I'm a recovering alcoholic. And it's there that I shared that I might as well bloody have a drink, because what is the use of being sober when this is what I've got to live for? And basically a lady came out and followed me out at the end of the meeting, and she said, I think you're going through the menopause. And she said, take my number. If it wasn't for this lovely lady, and then when I was a bit like, at the beginning, me? What do you think? Like that. I just imagine it was my nan with her little stick and her blue rinse. And then when I got home, I rang the girl back and I just said, okay, I think you might be right. And then we were on the phone for about 2 hours, and it was her that basically directed me. She took pictures of her estrogel, her progesterone, her testosterone, and she sent me on my way to my GP. And then she's the one who told me where to find menopause clinics, NHS menopause clinics that are, we've got like in London, the Royal Free, we've got the Chelsea in Westminster, I think there's one in Oxfordshire, there's quite a few darted around, but they, you know, there is such things as menopause clinic. And I learned this all from this lady. So I believe that the message and everything was organically, you know, put out there for me.
Yeah, brilliant. And so you're really open-minded in what you've tried and what you use. Obviously, HRT works for you.
Yes, it does. Yeah. I tried all of them.
That's a kind of straightforward. Yeah. And you like it in the gel format, which is fairly new, I think.
Yeah. I mean, well, we think of it as fairly new. Well, it probably is, but it's probably been around for like 7 or 8 years, I think, or more. It's just that I did everything, as you know, if you read my book, I did start off with doing everything from tapping to healers to you name it. I did all that, you know, acupuncture, and I was just trying to do everything alternative because I was just like, and then I went to the GP, and then I got the gels, and then I tried synthetic for 3 months. Then I did bioidenticals for another 3 months. And out of all of them, I did homeopathic remedies for 3 months, every time I did 3 months. And I did find that the gel was the estradiol gel, because it goes straight into your bloodstream. You know, it's cheap, it's available on the NHS. And bioidenticals, I can understand people that do want to do it, but it is so expensive that's why, just because you're paying a lot of money and you're going to like somewhere private, it's not actually... when it's made, it's not actually regulated.
So just to explain, well, these are plant-based hormones.
Yes.
But have the same effect as ones we can make synthetically to be like ours. Is that?
Yeah, that's correct. You are so correct.
Description? Yeah.
That's a really good description, yeah. So basically they are very expensive. And if I imagine that from like 48 till maybe 40, 50, 60, 70, hopefully, 80, that's a good 45 years of nearly paying £900 every 3 months.
Right.
It will really add up instead of £9 on the NHS. So it's a no-brainer for me, really. And also I just felt just as good on them. Yeah. And as we know, there is, and if you're fearful of like breast cancer and all those sort of things, if we had 1,000 women in the room, probably 7 out of the 1,000 would get breast cancer. But out of those 7, we know that women drinking 2 or more glasses of wine a night would be more likely to get breast cancer, obesity, and then people that just had the gene in them. So it's a very, very small percentage.
Yeah. And then you haven't just relied on that, have you? You've done some lifestyle changes.
Oh, yeah, I've done a lot.
You're super duper healthy.
Yeah, I am super healthy. Yeah, I am. And it really works for me. I just feel much more grounded. I feel my brain fog was terrible and I really wanted to get on top of that. And it's still quite bad now. So when I'm like, it's because my head still takes a bit of time to connect with my tongue. So the brain fog. So I just know that if I am feeling, well, this is how I work. If I do eat like sugar and carbs and just don't eat very clean, my brain, I am a bit slower with everything. So it just works and I feel so much better. I mean, with a clean diet, when you actually get around to doing it, then you don't want to actually go back, so for me, it really works. And I would say to everyone, it just is eating clean. It doesn't have to be boring, but it really does help with everything.
And you're big on sleeping as well, aren't you?
Yeah, massive on sleeping. I go to bed early. I am in bed and asleep probably by 10 every night. So, my lifestyle has completely changed. I think sleep to me is probably one of the most important things, as well as the diet. I don't get a good night's sleep, then everything feels, and of course I still have those nights where I wake up, not so much now, but I used to sort of wake up bolt right and be like, have this sort of anxiety in the night. It's not like that anymore. It's like I sleep so much better with this, because when you take the progesterone at night, it sort of calms your body down.
And there's some other really good tips in the book, I thought, about kind of calming your bedroom down.
Yeah.
Kind of, I think yours is completely electronic free. Is that right? So you take out.
Yeah, I just don't like any blue lights in the room. So I do have, I'm going to say I have shungite. I have that crystal. If you know what it is, it comes from Russia. It's this black crystal which can basically take EMF, the rays that we can't see that are coming from our TV, computers, phones, whatever electronic stuff that we have in our bedrooms. So for women, it really affects us, the way that we sleep. So if we can have a clean room, you will really sleep a lot deeper and loads better. I mean, if I fall asleep with something in the room, then I will notice it.
Oh, really? That's amazing.
Yeah, you will notice it. It's like, because you don't notice it. It's like when you stop drinking, you feel, oh my God, everything feels better. Or if you stop, things like that. So when you actually take the things out of your room and make the effort and do it for a few nights, you only seem to notice it when you bring it back into your life for some reason. I'm always like, oh, does that really work? You sure? Does it? Took me a bit of time to go back and forth doing all this stuff. Like I was like, no, maybe I sleep well anyway. And then I bring it back in and I wouldn't sleep as well.
Yeah. And then the other thing, sort of going back to the osteoporosis a bit, the exercise. So you talk about kind of weight bearing exercise being really important for bone density and all of that. So what's your kind of secret?
So now, since lockdown, I will tell anyone can do this now. I have a mat, I have a kettlebell, and I have 5 kilo weight, and I do have heavier ones, but 5 kilos are just fine because I did get heavier, but they don't really seem to get brought out very often. So just a pair of weights, a mat, and you can seem to find every workout on YouTube. There's ones, the name is awful. What are they called? Pop Sugar. It's called.
Yeah, I know
Pop Sugar Fitness. I know. I'm like, when I tell people, I go, yeah, go to Pop Sugar. They go, what? I go, no, I know it's the name. They're really good. And then I also do Richie Swan on Instagram. He's amazing. He's at 10 every day. But you just catch up on their IGTVs. And there's another great guy called Isaac Boots. So you have ankle weights for those and wrist weights. And he has the greatest sound music every day. And it's just great. And it's just very, so whatever you want to do, you can just mix it up. And I just learned this in lockdown. You don't need to go to a gym. You don't need a trainer. It's so easy. And, it's 30. I don't do massive. I do like 30 minutes a day.
So a good healthy amount. Really. Yeah. And also, I love what you call the very distressing belly that comes along with getting a bit older for most of us, the menopause.
Yeah.
So that's going to help sort that out, is it? I hope.
Yeah. I do not know. They talked about it, and I was just like, yeah, it was like there. It just seems to want to just go and park itself just here for some reason. It can't disperse evenly, can it? It just wants to go around there. And you just sort of think, yeah. But if you, exercise, clean diet, sleep. And sleep is important because, our cortisol levels, as we know, when we don't sleep and everything, they get so much higher. And we know from cortisol levels basically holds on to belly fat.
So it's all linked, basically, isn't it?
Everything is linked. This is what I mean. If you do the diet and sleep, you don't need some magical working out for 2 hours a day. It's a little bit of everything in your life, and only little steps, ladies, because like me, I can't stand running. So I did couch to 5K. I did it, but did I keep it up? No. And now I can't run again. And I, stopped doing it since in lockdown. And then now I can't. I went to try and run the other day and, so I just do walking and I make sure that I get 10,000 steps in. I just wear my trainers and I just think, right, just walk there and walk here. And I just try not to drive anywhere now and just walk.
Yeah, which is brilliant advice, just adding it into your lifestyle, really.
Yeah, don't have to do any major things, it's just like a few little changes will start to help with everything.
Yeah. And then just kind of in terms of supplements, do you take many? I know you talk about them in the book a bit, the kind of things like black cohosh and that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I talk about them, but the only thing I take is my Meno blend, which is...
Yeah, go on, what's in that then?
So in that we have, so you've got every single vitamin. So I just thought, let's put everything into one sachet. So I did, and I really wanted to put superfoods in there because I hadn't ever seen anyone do that. They hadn't done all vitamins and superfoods. So you've got chlorella, wheatgrass, MSM, acai, hyaluronic acid. There's a few more in there, and then you've got all your vitamins. You've got your B's, your C's, your magnesium. I mean, everything. When I made them make this, I was like, I want everything. And they were like, anything else we can get in it. And it costs you £1 a day. And it's a sachet and it's all in paper because everything is very sustainable in my range. It's like it's 97% sustainable. I've only got 3% plastic. Everything is in sugarcane husk or in paper. And this one sachet of the Meno blend, you just put it in the morning with the nut milk. You stir it up. It's like vanilla. And it has everything that you need for the day.
Yeah, so easy peasy.
Easy peasy, yeah. I mean, because I just know how expensive it is to go out and start buying all those. And if you've got all those superfoods, you've got all those different bags, it does add up. Yeah. So I wanted to make it accessible for all women.
Yeah, and I think you've got loads of things to take. You start off with brilliant intentions, don't you? And then kind of after a couple of weeks, you kind of forget, and then you lose the routine, and then...
Yeah, I'm exactly
then it's
like
a waste
that.
of money.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same. I'm like that with skin product. I'm like, I'm going to take my makeup on and be really good for, about 6 weeks. And then it's slowly, and then there's a toner, and then there's this, and then there's that. And in the end, it's just wash the face and a moisturizer, and everything else is just left there. I've got toners half full all over the place,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something we haven't touched on really, is that obviously, of course, menopause affects our skin as well.
Yeah, very much so. Your skin completely changes. I was having this really natural, organic facial just up the road where I live, and I've been having it for a couple of years, and then I went back and my face completely flared up for no apparent reason, and it was probably really, really soft products. And they had to put like a balm on, and it was just like it looked like it was swollen. And the poor lady who was doing the facial was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know why that happened, Meg. And I was just like, it's another thing that I'll go and look up now, which then led me to see that, I've got like all these little spots here, like acne breakout again, like your skin as a teenager. You think, oh my God, I'm now 54 and I've been covering up these spots all morning. It's so your skin as well, and it can get really dry. I noticed like my hands are really dry, and my face and my skin used to itch, and that's why and that's the other thing in my range. I've got hyaluronic acid because that's why I put it in there in the Meno blend, and also brought out Sealed with a Love and Kiss because that really helps just like the moisture in your skin. It's a really important thing, and also it doesn't matter if you use number 7 or creme de la mer or anything. I didn't want to bring out cream. I just wanted something extra. So you just add it to your moisturizer and it will just give you that little, and it's 1%. So it's quite a high percentage.
And I think that's worth bearing in mind because if you think about, did you say there's 34 symptoms?
Yes.
Is that right? So it can seem really, really scary, right? If you're going into it or you're even in it. But actually, what really comes across in the book and what I think is a fantastic takeaway to kind of maybe end on is that there are things you can do.
Yes.
You can be empowered. You can solve.
Yeah.
All of those things? Most of those things? Yeah.
No, you can get around all of them with lifestyle, with diet, with, just really, for once. I mean, we only have one body and one mind for the rest of our lives. So why not really look after it? I mean, I'm saying this now, it's taken me a very long time. I know I'm sitting here and 15 years ago, you all would have been going, what? So, and I've been there and I'm now here, and I would rather be here than be there any day.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes you such a great ambassador, because you have been there.
Yeah, I have. And now I'm here, and it's much better. Yeah, and I feel more empowered now. I would never have been able to do this. I'm not sort of trained to do, I'm a journalist or a doctor or, so all this is new to me, doing all these interviews and writing a book. It was so lovely for you to say that, because it's probably like when I know people have got an album out and they're just like, oh my God, I just feel naked. Everyone's listening to music. It's like, I feel like at the moment, like is everyone going to like it? Are they just going to be like, oh no, it's just another menopause book? But what you said was lovely, so thank you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not just another menopause book, not at all. It's really different. And I think it's, the overall message as well is that actually getting older can be okay. There's a positive message.
Yeah, just take it with attitude and style. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted people to know what my journey was like how bad and where it was, and then where I am today. And, you can see where I am today. So, yeah. It's brilliant. All good.
Yeah. Brilliant, Meg. Thank you so much. People should buy the book. The book is brilliant. But thank you for your time today.
No,
it's been brilliant.
Thank you, it's been amazing. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
That was our special menopause episode of the Healthy Podcast, brought to you in association with Holland Barrett. If you liked what you heard, maybe you can pick up the latest edition of Healthy Magazine in your local Holland Barrett store, online at hollandandbarrett.com and via the Holland Barrett app. Or you can head on over to healthy-magazine.co.uk for more great menopause content. Find out more about Meg and her Meg's Menopause products on the Holland Barrett website. And if you want more from Meg herself, check out her website, megsmenopause.com, where you can find more about her products and her book, The New Hot Tea. And finally, please feel free to subscribe to our regular Healthy podcasts on your podcast app and give us a review. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.